Well, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. This is a very exciting day for Grand Canyon. If you will take your seat wherever you can, that would be helpful. We have a lot of folks in here, and we want you to have a good view of what's taking place today on stage. Before we get started, would you join me in prayer as we ask God to bless our time together? Our God and Heavenly Father, we want to pause for this moment to say thank you for your kindness and grace to us. You have been generous beyond our imagination. And God, thank you for the opportunity that brings us together this morning. We believe that you have placed GCU where you have to do great work in this community. And we pray that this announcement, this partnership, will bring honor and glory to you. So God, we pray that you'll take these moments that we'll share together, that you'll bless them, that you'll encourage our hearts by what is shared, and that you'll be honored in this place because we ask it in Jesus' name and for his sake we pray. Amen.
GCU was built on a foundation of Christianity, and the Bible instructs us to give back to the community, help helpless, and give to the poor, and that's the ideology that GCU is built on.
Students here love to serve, and that's apparent everywhere you go. The Lopes pride, or the purple pride that we have at GCU, really is about serving. So I think students are really excited to roll up their sleeves and get to work.
Kids is something that GCU does every Saturday. It's part of our local outreach. I think it's a really good time for the university to get to know the outside neighborhood, and I think that's the most important because we are a part of it. It's like the kids, they've just shined so much light onto my life. I love them so much. It's just been a huge part of my life for the past 4 years.
You get to see every day how these kids are impacted, and it's a constant outpouring of joy as you invest in these kids and you see them invest in you, and you really get to see your impact every single week.
Relationship with Habitat for Humanity Central Arizona and GCU really started as GCU wanted to be just a catalyst in the surrounding community.
Serve the City is something that GCU does every semester, where we go out into the community, we partner with Habitat for Humanity, and we get to just serve the different homes around here.
It gives us the opportunity to kind of go out among the community and do landscape work, paint, help people kind of transform their houses.
I've been doing Habitat through GCU for the last 4 years. It's just been my pleasure to come out and be a leader and to help bring volunteers. If there is no volunteers, nothing gets done, and so it's really cool seeing all these people come out and really engage.
Actions speak louder than words, so 300 students or so is giving up their Saturday morning at 7 a.m. to come out and partner with Habitat for Humanity to restore houses. I think that's tremendous. I think it speaks volumes to this community.
My favorite part of the day, I think, was meeting the family and just kind of hearing out their story.
They came in and they painted my home. They planted the trees, they planted the bushes. They did such a wonderful job. Thank you so much. It just makes you feel good that your house is the one that everybody stops and says, oh, that's a nice home.
We're surrounded by so many people, so many houses, and these people, you know, are looking for transformation, and I think that it's really cool that students can kind of literally walk outside the gates of GCU and be in the neighborhood and just provide service.
Well, the main goal is really to demonstrate to this community that GCU, which is less than a mile down the road here, cares about the community, is willing to give back. It's the spirit of community service. It's the Christian spirit of giving back.
GCU is not just about GCU. GCU is about really living out the gospel. Every time that I come out to serve the city, I always walk away feeling so blessed.
When I was in high school, I really liked being involved. I liked being in clubs that involved helping the community. But I think when I got to GCU, that's when I was able to do it on such a large scale. I was able to start working in the Learning Lounge, helping students.
As soon as students start coming in, there are some of them that immediately will be like, Maddie, oh my gosh, I have to tell you about my day at school today. And some of them immediately come in and are like, Maddie, we're gonna have to do my math homework together later. And so it's kind of cool getting to like see all the students come in and just interact with them like that. Being able to have them put their trust in you with that makes it so much easier for them to trust you with other things. And it's kind of cool that something as simple as like not doing well in a math class can build that trust with them, and just knowing that the lounge is a really important part to these kids' lives, even past the academic support.
I'm a first-gen student, so really there's no one in my family who's gone to college. I inspire so much of my other family. My cousins look up to me. They say, Luis, I want to be just like you. I want to be somebody. I want to do what you do. And it's just very motivating for me. And then I also started to work at the Learning Lounge itself. And because of that, I was able to help so many new students who are struggling with certain work or they have questions about college. I'm able to provide for them the answers that they're looking for.
The SIS scholarship has made a great impact on my life. The sense of community that it has with its own SIS students, and by having the English classes, it has also involved our parents and the people in the community as well.
When the opportunity came to work with adults and teach them English, that's another opportunity that I was super excited to take, because it meant that I could help even more, and it's just made me gain a different perspective.
I see the happiness in parents when they're like so happy because they know they can help their kids now with their homework. They're getting that confidence and they're learning the language too, so they're like getting more prepared to teach that their kids, their own kids, how to do their homework. I think the parents feel very proud, and so do we as the teachers.
I was like really grateful to be able to come to a university where I have like the opportunity to study what I want. Besides from like the scholarship part, we also do a lot of outreach, which really impacts the community. And I feel like we're kind of seen as a role model in these communities. And it kind of just helps us spread the word and help these people feel like going to college and all that stuff is possible for them too.
I work with some people that they said, you know, oh yeah, I didn't think I was ever gonna go to college because I couldn't afford it, but they're here because of the scholarship, and those people are, you know, doing teaching degrees and they're amazing teachers, and it really touches me. It makes me emotional thinking about it, because there are like so many futures that could have ended abruptly, but they got that opportunity to go to school, and now we're gonna have one more teacher and, you know, one more leader because of it.
So what makes the GCU pod so unique in comparison to the other sites throughout Maricopa County and the state of Arizona are our volunteers. We rely heavily on all the positions at this site to be filled by volunteers. Their desire to help the community, do something good in the community, is what makes our site so unique. Not just from the way it's operated, but the feeling and the vibe. They're the direct line of communication and the customer service to the people coming here. Being able to almost do 2,000 people a day now. When we first started, we were thinking, hey, we'll get to 800. You know, give all the credit to the volunteers. They're the ones that are making it happen.
The best part about volunteering here at the Vaccination Pod, I think, is just the amount of gratitude you receive from everyone who comes through. Every day I come home from working here, I just feel so good because I know that I have to help people who really need to get this vaccine.
I've probably been out here more than 10 times, definitely. I come 3 times a week. I just love coming out here because it shows that you have like a huge impact on the community. Everyone is so grateful to be here. A couple weeks ago, I had a woman who was immunocompromised, and I was able to make her appointment right at the car with her, and she started crying because she was so grateful to get it, and it's just stuck with me. It's just amazing to see how positive everyone is here. The atmosphere is just so like
contagious and energetic. It's amazing.
We have just an amazing student body in so many ways, but I met with a group of students twice in the summer before school was starting. We were planning for what should the semester look like on our campus. And one of the first questions I got was, are we going to be able to serve our neighbors in the community this semester, or do you think it's best that we don't do that? You could tell they wanted to do it. And so this CityServe possibility just came along at the right time, really. We don't even have a formal agreement yet, but there were 2 trucks that were coming, and the GCU committee stepped up and said, we'll do it, which is a tremendous testament to the people who came together, worked together, and made this happen, both faculty, staff, and students.
It's a really special event to be able to just provide a basic necessity for people that may not necessarily have everything they need right now. But I think given the state of this year and that everything has felt kind of drabby and sad, that it's added a lot of extra joy for all of us to be able to interact with others and kind of come together around a purpose to help others and to just be back into our community that we love to be a part of.
The reason I'm so excited is that I get to give back to the community. And I work along a bunch of great people, and that's the good feeling I get out of it, just to give.
So I think the best part of Farmers to Families is that CCSC gets to be a part of it. So we get the opportunity to get our scholars out here, get them working the event. They get to have like real life experience in helping the community. So they get to assist with getting these food to families who need it, and that GCU overall gets to like send it to the community around the school.
As we prepare for the next steps in our partnership with CityServe, GCU is investing in space on campus to serve as a distribution hub. This space will be shared with several other resources, including Canyon Ventures, a community business incubator. We're really excited for the future of this partnership and blessed to be part of it.
Well, thanks to our video team for putting another great video together. Thanks to Helen and the event staff for putting this event together. I get excited about a lot of things that happen at GCU, but I have to be honest, I don't know if I've ever been more excited about anything than I am this day and what the potential of this partnership is. It is an amazing ministry that we're just at the beginning of, and thank you to all of you that have come out to hear about it. Let me introduce some people that I think are important in our community. First, Betty Guardado, who's GCU's District 5 council person. Betty, will you stand up, please? Thank you for being here. Also, additional council people, Ann O'Brien and Jim Waring. Would you stand up, please? Thank you. Amy Love from Senator Mark Kelly's office is here. Thank you. Haley Hassan and Deborah Rising, you saw Farmers to Families? They are behind Shamrock Foods, who's behind Farmers to Families. Would you guys stand up, please? Thank you. Dan Schufelt from Arizona Helping Hands, David Adame and Kathy Keppel from Chicanos Por La Casa, Steve Sabilski from St. Vincent de Paul, Thomas Leone from Equality Health Foundation, Monica Cowley from Taros Health, and Timothy Thomas from the Phoenix Police Foundation are all here. Please stand up. Thank you guys for being here. And then some of our school partners, Dr. Cecilia Mays of Cartwright Elementary School, Christina Pelton from Fuentes from Empower College Prep, and Jeffrey Stempak from Murphy School District are all here. Would you stand up, please? Welcome. The purpose of this is to get as much information out to all of you as we possibly can in a very short period of time. And so I'm not going to belabor the point, but the real brains behind this organization is a guy named Dave Donaldson, who's connected at the very highest levels in our country politically, but he's a tremendous man of God who has a tremendous passion for serving the underserved.
This is him and a couple of his partners' brainchild, and they wanted to be part of GCU to create a hub. And so I'm going to introduce him, and he's going to talk about what CityServe is from a national standpoint. Please welcome Dave.
Thank you, President Mueller, and we're so grateful for your leadership, vision, and compassion, and also to Mr. Colangelo as well, one of my heroes for many, many years. And I want to introduce a few of our team. If the CityServe team, if you'll stand, please, and you'll be hearing from some of them. I also, in watching that inspiring video, I've got to say thanks to Debbie and her team for Farmers to Families. You guys were incredible. Incredible. Well, the impetus for another organization my brothers and I started called Convoy of Hope, and now CityServe, actually started when I was 9 years of age. My parents were driving down the freeway, and a drunk driver slid across the divide and hit their car head on. My dad was killed instantly, and our mother survived, but they literally had to pin her body back together again. And I'll never forget just looking outside her hospital room, and she was so beaten up and broken, we didn't even recognize her. 3 boys, a younger sister. And we wondered, where are we going to get clothing, food, shelter? But it was compassionate people like you that rallied and wrapped their arms around us. And the big question is, who was going to take in 4 young kids? And this family named the Davises. They didn't have a big bank account, but they had big hearts. In fact, they lived in a single wide trailer, and they took us in while our mom recovered. And I'll never forget that day when we walked up to this trailer, and I wondered, would this be another stop along the way? Would they really want us, keep us? And as we shuffled inside, Mr. Davis gave us hugs, and this is what he said. He said, "You are with family, and this is your home." That 4-letter word "with" changed our lives, and later on was a result of starting Convoy of Hope and now CityServe. And when you saw that video, that's what you're doing. You are with our neighbors in need. And together with this partnership, we're just getting started. We're going to provide a lot of with. Amen? A lot of with. And I love, we walked around the resource center, prayed for it last night, and it's going to be filled with product from Costco, Home Depot, Amazon, many others. And we're going to be able to take that product as a warehouse hub and distribute it through, I believe, hundreds of pods, points of distribution, and no telling how many families like mine we're going to be able to help. But we're also going to be able to help them get on their feet, to help them move, like my mom, from dependency to sustainability. She eventually became one of the lead buyers for Dow Chemical. We can do this. We can do this. Last year alone, CityServe, we distributed $420 million of these home furnishings, diapers, school supplies to neighbors in need. Also, through the Farmers to Families program tied to USDA, we distributed 14 million boxes all through the Christian community. Huh? Isn't that incredible? And you were part of that. I was driving by Domino's, and I saw that logo. It's 3 dots representing the first 3 franchises, which have now grown into over $4 billion a year. Well, I happen to believe that this is going to be the model, the university model that God is going to bless, He's going to replicate in America and around the globe. And it starts today. It starts today. Speaking of models, it's a joy for me to introduce Wendell Vinson, and also next to him is Carl. and they created the first model in Bakersfield, California. And Wendell's going to come up in a moment, but also after him is going to be Lynn Johnson. And Lynn was the former assistant secretary under the previous administration for the Administration for Children, Youth, and Families. She had a little budget, $62 billion. So I told her when she wanted to join CityServe, our budget is a little smaller than that. But she is, you're going to hear from her in a moment. But let's welcome to GCU, Wendell Vincent.
Thank you. Thank you, President Mueller and your entire GCU team. We appreciate very much the mission and the culture of Grand Canyon University, what you guys stand for, and what you represent to this community and globally through your students and alumni to the world. We thank you for what you're doing. CityServe looks forward to this partnership. Our goal is to see the church in all its forms mobilized across our nation to bring healing to our nation. There are, we believe, so many opportunities right here around Grand Canyon University to really lean into the need of the brokenness and to really bring healing. We believe that God's infrastructure, the church, is God's infrastructure, God's people for the healing of our nation, that the church should lead the way. The church should be clearly stepping into the greatest needs in our community. We say often that it's very similar to how God's designed our body, that if there was an infection in your body or a wound in your body, God's designed your body so that all the white blood cells move toward that infection or that wound to bring healing. And really that's what the church should be. That's what God's people should be in community. When there is brokenness, when there is hurt, when there is infection, when there are things that are just wrong and need to be restored, that God's people, the church, move toward that need together. And so CityServe is excited about the potential and all that God's going to do here through Grand Canyon University to make that possible. We see this hub as a critical opportunity, a vital opportunity to really respond to and resource the church at large in this community. There are lots of neighborhood churches in this community that simply feel under-resourced and outgunned. Many of them are in some of the most troubled neighborhoods, and GCU has the opportunity to really come alongside those churches and help to strengthen them. We believe what Isaiah 58 proclaims, that the church will be the restorer of broken cities. We believe that when we care for the poor and hurting, that we are doing the work of Jesus. We believe what Jesus said in Matthew 25, when you do it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me. And one day we're going to be judged for that. Why wouldn't we want to do what we're going to someday be judged for? Why wouldn't we give our lives for that? And so this is an exciting moment for this community. It's an exciting moment for CityServe. Three primary things that CityServe will help provide. One is a robust supply chain that will operate out of this campus to serve your community and to serve also local churches and faith-based organizations that really have a heart to do this kind of work. So a robust supply chain. Secondly, CityServe and GCU together will help to build capacity among those who are willing, that coalition of the willing that has a desire to say we want to be the church, not just go to church, we want to be the church in our neighborhoods. We will help work together to build capacity in that coalition of the willing. A supply chain, capacity building organization. And thirdly, that third deliverable is that we will together build a platform for collaboration. God's people need to work together better. When Jesus prayed in John 17, he prayed about the church being one church. And so we're interested in seeing the church work together in community because the testimony of Christ, the validity of our witness, the legitimacy of our calling and all that we proclaim in many regards is connected to how well we work together and represent Christ in our community. So we will build together a platform that will enable us as a church together and as God's people together to work more strategically, more cohesively together, to collaborate with people that have a heart to do that good work. So we thank you and we appreciate this campus and all you've already done. I was enjoying so much that presentation. You guys are already doing it. We want to come alongside you and strengthen it and take your heart and your passion and your mission further together. Thank you so much.
Good morning, GCU. It's fun to be here, inside, not outside. I'm not your heat person. And President Mueller, thank you so much for what you are doing here with GCU team. It's an honor to work with you. It's an honor to work with everybody in this room because you are making it happen. Ryan, please stand. Ishan, please stand. Josh, please stand. They are joining us today as youth with an alumni with lived experience from the foster care system. So if you have any questions or anything, thank these three for sharing all that they know so we are better at what we do. So thank you all. Thank you. I want to share just a few numbers with you and then tell you why we're here. We have about 480,000 youth in our foster care system. We have about 122,000 whose parental rights have been terminated and they have an adoption plan. Of that 122,000, some wait up to 18 years to find a forever home. 20,000 a year age out, emancipate with no loving family, no safe place to go. And we know that means that they will probably be human trafficked, that they may end up homeless, they may end up pregnant, they may end up substance abuse. And then there are those that rise above that because somebody steps in, because everybody needs somebody, that's Josh's words, and make a difference for the people that are aging out because our system has not figured out how to do something more on the front end, and the kids, after they have been removed from their parents, end up going to whatever. And so you'll hear that from the kids if you ask them some questions. So with those numbers, those are just a few numbers. 60,000 kids do get adopted. It's not all bad, but they may linger 3 years or more before that happens. And correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, because you know this better than me. But can you imagine a world where children, youth, and the elderly are free from abuse and neglect? We can. That's what CityServe does. Can you imagine a world where dignity, respect, and love is inherent in the culture regardless of race, religion, or political party? We can. That's what CityServe does. Can you imagine a world where unemployment and homelessness are issues of the past? We can. We can, and we know that by uniting government, nonprofit organizations, and churches together on a common mission, all at the same time, we at CityServe believe with intense determination and urgency, and I think I can't say that word enough because these guys will tell me, urgency, 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 I'm getting this. We, all of us, can change this culture. All of us. GCU, you are already doing this. So that is why we are so excited about this partnership with GCU. It is unique, it is cutting edge, and it will make a difference for poverty, for adoption, for adult abuse, for everything in the state of Arizona. Let's go and take it worldwide. So that's why CityServe created the All-In for 10 challenge. They have 10 issues they found in the Bible. You know them: orphans, widows, homelessness, the hungry. And then we have foster care, adoption, our human trafficking issues that I'm working on. So the All-In challenge is, will you join me to stop these things? Will you adopt somebody? Will you foster? Will you peer mentor? Will you love someone who's been through a system? Someone who's been thrown aside? And if you are all in, GCU, nothing can stop us. So I ask you to be all in with me. Is GCU all in for foster care and adoption, President Mueller? We're all in. GCU, let's do this. Thank you.
Thank you. So you've gotten some sense for what they're doing, the organization they've built, and what their mission is and what they want to accomplish. I don't know how long ago it was that we met, but we hit it off almost immediately because you have such a big vision for non-government intervention into places that have a lot of need. And you're absolutely right, Pastor. The church should be taking the responsibility to provide leadership in this area. It's the reason that we exist. I have to tell you, for those of you that are a little bit new, even some students, thank you for being here, number one. But 13 years ago, we didn't have what we have today. We had a tiny little campus with 900 students. 33rd Avenue in Camelback was a real tough place to be. Our campus was not a great place to be. And then we started to put in place a new financial model, and it started working. And as it was working, you looked around and said, you know, there are 45 different languages that get spoke within 5 square miles of this place. The world has come to us. We have immigrants from almost every part of the world that live in this neighborhood. We don't really need to go out. It's here. And so there were outreach programs that were set up. Eventually, we set up a 5-point plan that wanted to use the 2 greatest ideas of America, which is the Christian worldview and the free market system, to start changing and transforming the neighborhood. The first part of it was jobs on campus. We now have 14,000 jobs. We hire a lot of people in the neighborhood into entry-level jobs. Great for them because they get a salary and benefits, but they also get to send their kids to college for free. The second thing was to spin as many businesses off of this one and create more employment opportunities. And we've done that 12 times now, and those new companies employ over 500 people. And a place like this needs jobs. Thirdly, it was safety. We need the community to be safe so that kids could walk to school and get back home without intersecting gangs and all kinds of other things. And so we have a great partnership with the city of Phoenix. It's not perfect here yet, but it's moving very positively from a crime suppression standpoint. The fourth one, you saw Habitat for Humanity. We've done over 300 homes. And since we started that, housing values are up 302%. So those people in this neighborhood that own a home that a number of years ago was worth $100,000, it's now worth $300,000. Their future family financial situation's been totally changed. And then you saw the tutoring program, which has exploded, and the scholarship program that resulted from that. We have 360 students now, full tuition scholarships. We're raising a ton of money to get that number up to 800. We're now graduating students. In fact, we just had a student graduate out of that program. Nobody in their family's ever been to college before. It was a mechanical engineering major. He now works for SpaceX. We had a student just get a full scholarship to be in a PhD program out of our baccalaureate program at Northwestern. These are kids who are first-generation kids in their family ever to go to college, and they're going to take, one of the students was telling me he got a job in computer science upon graduating. He's going to make more in his first 2 months' salary at that job than his parents will make combined the entire year. How is that going to change that family's future? It's going to be amazing. What's going to happen, I believe, in that family. This CityServe thing has 2 phases. Number one, and I talked to Dave this morning, he looked at our 35,000 square foot warehouse and he said, that's not near big enough. These trucks are going to be coming from all over the country. They're going to have $60,000 worth of goods on them. We're going to spend $1,000 or $2,000 to cover transportation costs. We're going to inventory, house the goods. And as we're doing that, we're forming 100, again, I said 100, he said that's not near enough. You're going to need hundreds because we want you to serve the entire state of Arizona. North to the Indian reservations, south to the border, west to Yuma and that border. There's a lot of need. And we're going to be able to interact with families that they need car seats, they had a new baby, they need a crib, they need a table and chairs to eat dinner around, they need mattresses, they need clothes because it's getting cold and the kids won't go to school if they're not warm. All of those things. But that's phase one. Phase two is we're going to be building a network of these families who need long-term sustainable solutions.
Phase one is really important. If you're hungry, you're hungry. If you're cold, you're cold. If you're sleeping on the floor, you're sleeping on the floor. That's not fun. But ultimately, we want phase two, which is to be working with our 9 colleges. All 9 deans are looking at their academic programs, and they're designing project-oriented work for juniors and seniors at GCU to earn credit as they move through their program here. It might be our counseling students as seniors performing counseling services for families. It might be our education students providing tutoring. It might be our business students providing help, because a lot of immigrant families have young businesses. They may need help in accounting, in marketing. They may need capital. So there are a lot of reasons that families aren't doing well, but there aren't any reasons they can't prosper in the greatest country in the world if the church gets behind this effort. And I want to give you just a sense for how we're thinking about that. And so, Dr. Rada, will you spend a couple minutes and talk about how the colleges are thinking about that, phase two?
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. We're really excited. You're going to hear from a couple of the deans, but I want to give you 3 S's why this is really important and works. It's studies, scholarship, and service. And our model of education at GCU is really built on the idea that, yes, you have to gain knowledge, you have to study that material for your content area. But very important at GCU is service. Because once you start to serve others with that knowledge, you really learn the material. You learn how to work with a family. You can learn something in sociology about working with a family, but when you work with a family, now you understand where the theory and practice come together. And the third piece, the scholarship, which is we want to study what works so we can replicate it. You study what you're doing, you're studying the interventions, and then you can improve on that and make it better. So our students and our faculty and our deans are really excited, because when they graduate from here, who they are as people is not only an intellectual head. It is really someone who's out there in the world and wants to improve what they're doing. And I'm really excited to turn this over to some of my deans, and they can give you a little bit more color on how they will do that. But thank you, GCU. Thank you to CityServe and to this great work. Thank you. Dr. Lisa Smith, Dean of the Nursing College.
Well, good morning. You heard President Mueller talk about phase two, and that's really where I see the service of our college coming into play. When you mix nursing and healthcare professionals, they already have a heart to serve. Many times that's what propels them to give. Now partner that with Christianity, and you really have an unstoppable initiative going forward. And for our college, we're very excited about an opportunity to provide a health clinic to our community in phase two. We already have a wonderful model here in the university. We have a health and wellness clinic that has been offered for our students and also for employees. And we really look forward to being able to take that model now and put it into the community and have our students and our faculty serve and provide much needed health care services to those individuals in the community. Our nursing faculty have for some time been asking about a GCU community clinic. And so now we believe is the time to do that. And so we're very excited about that opportunity to come.
All right, hey, good morning. Happy to be here. Human flourishing is the result of the integration of faith and free markets. The Colangelo College of Business is very excited to partner with CityServe and take 3 programs already started to the next level, all right? So 1, Eduardo Borquez and the New Business Development Center. He's already helped over 300 families in the West Valley. He's created Spanish and English curriculum on how to start a business. He's had a team of students helping him, consulting and advising businesses. We're ready to take that program to many, many more, 1,000 in the West Valley as we help with job creation. 2, Robert Vera leads Canyon Ventures. It's our incubator business accelerator space over by the warehouse that's going to be there for CityServe. And we have 30 startups, hired 100 students. We're going to take that to 50 startups, 250 employees, and help those companies generate revenue. That is the key. And I know you're here, Robert, so you hear that. We need to help them generate revenue so they can launch, plant out in the West Valley, and create more opportunities. So both of those are all about job creation. And then finally, the third aspect is on campus right now, we have something we call Money Week for our students. It's financial literacy, but we need to push that out to the community. So we're going to have our business finance students working, partnering with industry, going out into the West Valley and helping families with the basics of money management. We are all in to live out our faith and serve others. Lopes up. Thank you.
Good morning. The partnership with CityServe and Grand Canyon is absolutely a gift from God for our college. Why? Because our behavioral health, addictions counseling, and social work students, that's about 2/3 of our college, by the way, they love to serve and minister to others. Dr. Kathleen Downey is our director of social work, and every week she asks me, is that CityServe thing going yet? So we're ready to go. She's sitting right over there. But why don't you stand up real quick? She has big plans. You know, we have a track record, too. At Alhambra High School across the street, we are blessed to have the opportunity where for the past 2 years, our students in behavioral health and counseling and psychology have been part of an elite group that go over and run psychological support services. They mentor students, high school students who are suffering from what America is often suffering from, depression, anxiety, trauma, bullying. And when I stop and talk to them, I say, what do you get out of that? And they say, we get so much out of it. They just want more and more of it. Thank you, CityServe and President Mueller, because with this opportunity, we will take a model like that and we'll just grow it out exponentially. Thank you.
Wanted you to hear it from at least one student. So we have one here that is a junior. She is a psychology major, and she is also a cheerleader, and she's been very involved in a lot of these outreach initiatives. So Hopi, would you step up, please?
Okay, here we go. Hi everyone, my name is Hope Gibson, and as President Mueller said, I'm a junior here at GCU, and I'm starting my 3rd year on the GCU cheer team, and I'm a major in psychology. During my time here at GCU, I've been given a lot of opportunities to serve our community. That being said, it was no surprise when I got a text asking for help on Good Friday. GCU was distributing over 3,000 boxes of food to our community. I had no idea what to expect when I arrived in the parking lot that morning, but it was so amazing to do the Lord's work, especially on Good Friday. What I experienced that day was so impactful. The families, churches, and organizations that came through that day to pick up boxes of food was so thankful and excited to receive such a gift on such a special day. Little did I know this is just the beginning of a great partnership with CityServe. I can't imagine all of the resources GCU will be able to get into the right hands of our community through CityServe. As a student, I am excited to see how we are able to join this cause. Thank you, and Lopes up.
Just a short while before Senator McCain died, I had a chance to visit with him in the airport in Washington, D.C., and he said to me, you know, I've spent most of my life in Arizona, and I've watched it grow, and I've watched it flourish. And people give me credit for some of that. He said, I don't need much of that. I don't deserve much of that credit. But the person who does has built his entire adult life here and has been a big part, not just of the sports scene in Phoenix, but also of the growth of Phoenix. And he is known as an extremely charitable person, one who really believes in giving back in a whole myriad of ways. And I wanted him just to say a word or two from the city's perspective. So, Mr. Colangelo, would you say a few words, please?
Thank you, Brian. Well, it's another great morning and another example of what GCU is doing in this community. You get to a certain age and you always reflect back on how things were. And when I arrived here in the late 60s, this was a small town. It had needs. It definitely had needs. And so one of the first thoughts I had, just because it was instinctive with me, is that we have a job to do, not only in building a franchise, happened to be the Phoenix Suns, but what can we do to help this community become a better place in which to live? What is the legacy that we will leave? And so when I think about GCU's involvement and the impact it has had on this community, it's overwhelming to me. It really is. And I'm not going to be repetitive and mention the numbers, but it's something that has made a tremendous impact. Back then, there were 700,000 people living in the valley. Today, there's over 5 million. So you think about the needs that grow with the expanded growth, and we're not finished yet. There's another 1 million people coming over the next 10 years. And so there's more than enough to do. Early on, I was very involved in collaboration in this community, trying to bring the church, the businesses, public officials together to address each of the needs in the community. And it was a little overwhelming, but you do the best you can to make an impact. And I love the spirit that exists here at GCU, where everyone rolls up their sleeves and makes a contribution. That's what life is all about. In my vocabulary, it's not about all the wins, it's about how you play the game. And in terms of the game of life, I can't think of anything that's more impactful than helping your neighbor and helping the people who definitely need what they can get just to survive. So I applaud this partnership because I can just feel it, that it's going to have an amazing impact on this community and will be a model for other universities to follow for sure. The leadership is here, the desire is here, the need is definitely here. So I think there's some great days ahead. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure what's going to happen this summer. We all know that last summer was not a good time for America. We're a divided country. We're a polarized country. And our cities have experienced a lot of harm as a result of the polarization, how divided we are. And I don't know what's going to happen this summer. I don't know if there are going to be more marches, more protests, more riots, more destruction. I don't know for sure about that. But the one thing I do know is that the greatest unifier in the history of the world was this Jesus of Nazareth that was here 2,000 years ago. He was somebody who, because of his care and compassion for every human being, changed the world. And we are in a position to be his people. I don't know why this has all happened. When we came here 13 years ago, I thought we had a decent idea, a decent plan. I thought it might work. For it to work like it has worked, that is not of human origin. That's not me. That's not the executive management team. God has his hand on this place in a real strong way, in a purposeful way. And I think our opportunity in the next 4 months, while whatever else goes on in the country, is to really focus on getting prepared for September. We're going to hit the ground running in September. It's going to be an effort that galvanizes the 25,000 students that we have on campus, the 90,000 students that we have online, the 14,000 people that work here. If Christ is really at the middle of what we do, and we care about people who are struggling as badly as he cared about us, which is why he was willing to go to the cross for us, there is absolutely no telling what we can do. And I would so much like to integrate it into the academic process here that university education is in a way revolutionized. So as students move on to be juniors and seniors, they're getting a strong sense for who they're going to be, what their ministry is going to be. And I want to say this to the students, you're all going into a ministry. Whether you're going as a pastor or a teacher or an engineer or a computer scientist or a business entrepreneur, you're all going into a ministry. We need to have influence in all those areas. But what we want to do is give you a chance to take what you know and take what you can do into the darkest places. You know, it would have been easy for us to go to Scottsdale 13 years ago or someplace else. The fact that we stayed here is why we've been blessed the way we've been blessed. And so Dave and your entire team, what you guys have created here is an absolutely fascinating model. It's a fascinating model. Thank you for making us part of it. And I can't wait. I mean, for 5 years from now, when we all get back in this room and talk about what's happened, it's going to be a transformation. It's going to be amazing. Thanks, all of you, for being here. I hope your wheels are spinning. Whether you're on a team, in a program, or whatever, start thinking about how we can put this to the best use possible. So, again, thanks for being here.